because what they say to us is that we are for you, but don't forget you're 10% of the population. And if you get smart, we'll wipe you out.
You are my beloved son. In you I am well pleased. Another time the Father said that was on the highest spot in all of Israel, Mount Hermon, where he was transfigured. Peter was there, James was there, John was there. By the way, their names, Peter, James, and John in Hebrew. All right, you have Peter, which means stone. By the way, Peter, who boasts of his love for the Lord, his name, Petros, means stone. That represents the Lord. Name, Petros, means stone. That represents the Lord. Name, Petros, means stone. That represents the Lord. John, Yohanan, his name means grace. So grace, both of the Lord's love, instead of your love for the Lord. So Peter was there, his name means stone. John was there, his name means grace. James, Yaakov in Hebrew, means supplant, to replace. In other words, at the cross, before Jesus, the stone has been replaced by grace. The stone has been replaced by grace.
Okay, everybody, it's your brother Majors, and we were just in there listening to Joseph Prince and how he took Peter, James, and John and came up with this concept of that meaning the law, Peter representing the law, James representing supplanter or Jacob, and John representing grace, because John names means God is gracious, or Yah is gracious. And he came up with this concept that all three of them up there was a representation symbolically of grace supplanting the law, which is, it makes no sense. When we read in James, James is always talking about being obedient to the law. John is always talking about being obedient to the law. And we know that Peter did the same thing. He taught the same thing of being righteous and living right. So let's look into these scriptures, man, real quick. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's look at these scriptures. We're going to start in Matthew chapter number 16. He was in chapter 17. But we're going to deal with 16 first. 16 in verse number 16. Starting out 16 in verse number 15. The Messiah is asking the question, who do men say that I am? What is the street saying? Verse number 15. He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of living Yah. And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, or Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto you, but my Father which is in heaven, which will make all the sense in the world for him to be up there with them. It has nothing to do with a symbolic understanding of him being the law and it being replaced. No, he was the one that got the revelation, so it makes sense for him to be there. Let's see why. What else? Verse number 18. And I say unto thee that thou art, he said, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock, which Peter, if you read it in the Aramaic, it means kippah or keppah, however you want to pronounce it, which means stone. Or rock, shall I say. It means rock, okay? And upon this rock, upon this revelation, Peter, by you getting this revelation, I'm going to use you as a catalyst, as a main person to build my church. So he's telling them, I'm going to use you to build an assembly of believers with this revelation that you got of who I am. You'll be one of the main voices, or if not the main voice, that I will use to construct an assembly of not people that just focus on a building, but be an organism. All right, let's keep reading here. It says in verse number 18, and I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, or my assembly, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. This is in chapter number 16. Before you even get to chapter number 17. So it makes sense for Peter to be up there doing this whole revelation. We're going to get into that. Was this actually literal? Was this something seeing literal? Or was it a vision? Was it a trance? Did it mean something else? So let's get looking in the scriptures here. All right, we're going to jump over here to Matthew chapter number 17. All right, Matthew chapter number 17, verse number 1. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. Hold on. So you got Peter, the one who got the revelation of who the Messiah was. You have James and John, both who played major key roles in the structuring of the early assemblies in Jerusalem as well as in other areas. These brothers made key roles when it came down to council decisions. These two brothers was rocking with John the Baptist. It makes perfect sense for the three leaders of this new formulated congregation, who are going to be shepherds, who are going to be apostles, to be close to you like that, to take them. Why weren't the other disciples taken? Why? It's because these three, one got the revelation of who the Messiah was over everybody. Everybody else didn't get the revelation, but Peter got it. James and John were there in the beginning. They understood John the Baptist's teachings. They knew John the Baptist was teaching repent, keeping the commandments, living righteous, living holy. You think if I'm going to come here and I'm going to lay foundation against wickedness, why won't I choose some people who've already got an understanding? One, got a revelation, and two, got an understanding of the heart of my Father, because they've been rocking with somebody who's been teaching it already. All three of these brothers, that was the reason why that they were up there dealing with transfiguration. Now let's look at this right here. All right. So verse number 3, and behold, there appeared unto Moses and Elias talking with them. Now, if you jump down to verse number 9, it says, and they came down from the mountain. Jesus charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man. Tell the vision. Peter had a vision of Cornelius. It was a vision of it was a symbolic vision. Now, if you want to talk about symbolisms, here's your symbolic vision of Moses and Elijah. Okay, that was a symbolic vision. And guess what over here? Look what it says right here. It says, verse number 11. He says, and Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall come first and restore all things. All right? Look what he says right here. He says, true Elijah shall come and restore all things. But let's go back up to verse number 10. Verse number 9, look what it says. It says, and they came down from the mountain. Jesus charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, why then say to the scribes, Elias must come first? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall come first and restore all things. He's going to come first and lay the foundation, okay, and restore teachings of righteousness. But I say unto you that Elias is already come, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listened. Talking about, look, he's going to tell you, likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer, the same way they did Elias, who came before the Son of Man. They're going to come, they're going to do him the same way. Verse number 13. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. This is what this was all about. A revelation that John came in the spirit of Elijah. Then not only that, but did not Yah tell Moses that I shall send a prophet in like manner as you? This was a representation of John the Baptist and Christ, the spirit of Elijah and Moses. That's what this was about. This had nothing to do with no grace replacing the law. Because if that's the case, we can go all the way back to Genesis. We can see during the time of Noah where grace and the law was both present. That has nothing to do with that, brothers and sisters. So I wanted to encourage y'all today, man. I generally don't do videos like this, but this morning I was watching this video. This morning I was watching, I just happened to walk past the television. I saw Joseph Prince and I stopped. I said, okay, let me see what he's talking about. And when I watched, I was like, no, I got to rewind this. Let me get this on tape. Because it makes no sense. People will go so far to teach against the law that they'll start coming up with all this other stuff to mean other things. And you saw in the video, folks was confounded, like, oh, wow, oh, wow. You saw the brother at the end. Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow, that's some deep revelation. We had nothing to do with it, man. So y'all be blessed, man. Shalom to you all.